people have stood on the shoulders of giants for like thousands of years, right? So we have access to like all these really cool things, but we don't really appreciate them. We take them for granted. Like, this is the right way to do it, right? We never stop and say like, well, why is it the right way to do it? Or what was the evolutionary process to get to that level? And I think in doing that as an exercise will make your jiu-jitsu much better, right? So I want everybody here to kind of like take all the cool things you know and just kind of like put them in a little piece of aluminum foil and put it in the little drawer in the fridge for a little while. Bring it, you could bring it all back out after class. But for now, like, it's gonna be dumb. You're gonna do some dumb shit, bad jiu-jitsu, right? By doing bad jiu-jitsu, it's gonna help you appreciate your good jiu-jitsu, right? So what is a sweep? Last thing I'll say, there's a, I think it was Picasso or somebody, they drew like a picture of a bull, and it was like a really badass painting. And then he regressed it, and it was like less detail, kind of a bull, and he kept doing that until it was just like 3 lines, right? So it was like, this is the horn and the head, and this is the body, and this is the legs, right? So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to take that, all the details out, and just get to the root of like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, what are we trying to do, and how can we do it? And it'll make you more creative, and it'll make you appreciate good stuff. Where did you go? Oh, holy shit.
Snuck up on you.
So now, I worked on this hard, so hopefully I won't have to talk a lot. I'm gonna say very, very simple things. If you have a question about those simple things, that's okay to have the question, but I might judge you a little. Could you get my gourd?
Yeah, knees down.
Thank you. My leg feels great. But look, this is a very, very, very true thing. We're trying to sweep. I have almost, there's no solid for sure rules, but like, let's say 98%. I can't fucking sweep this guy if he's all the way up. I also can't sweep this guy if he's all the way down. Does that make sense? He has to be in what I call in kids class in between land, right? So what we're gonna do first is take that principle. They have to be in between. We'll prove it. So drive your hips and get like good strong posture. Right, if I try to scissor sweep Michael Curry here, there's like, man, I don't even feel like there's even a possibility of it, right? Or a fucking pendulum sweep him. Yeah, come on, right? And if he's all the way down, we run into the exact same problem of no space, right? So I need him to be in between. Now, there's a few different in between positions I like. I like this kind of arm bar in between. Everybody see his back is at that 45-degree angle. And now when I start moving, he starts moving, right? I like collar sleeve, like Kyle Sleeman really loves. And I like to put my elbow in there, so pull away from me, push into me. He's just stuck in between land forever, right? There's a high guard is putting someone in between land, right? Like I'm using leverage to get up on his shoulders, keeps him in between, right? But there's a fucking billion ways to do it, and I'm not here to tell you how to do it. I'm here to tell you, go put your partner in between land. Whatever you decide to do is fine, but you're gonna be doing that way of putting them in between for the whole rest of the class, okay? So don't do anything like bite his nipple and hold him halfway, because they'll be doing it for an hour, okay? Go! Get them in between, and that they can't go down, they can't go up. That's your mission. Put them halfway in between. Now, if you want to know why, it's because I can generate a shitload of force by squeezing my sexy butt cheeks together and driving my hips in, right? That's what I'm doing when I'm upright. That's how I'm stopping everything. And if I'm all the way down, I can use my abs and the folding of my body to put a lot of pressure into my chest to hold you down. But in between, I'm like a duck, right? Ducks can fly, swim, or walk, but they look fucking stupid whenever they're doing any of them, right? They're not good at any of those things.
Wait, how does that?
Because in this position, right? Like, I can make a little bit of force with my hips, and I can make a little force with my chest, right? I'm very capable, but I suck at both. Now, does it make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Don't be a duck, right? Don't be a duck. Now, the next thing I have to figure out once I've got this guy in halfway land, right, is I gotta get rid of a post. Does everybody agree? I gotta decide which way I'm gonna take this person. There's not a right answer or a wrong answer. The right answer is whichever way is easiest. And we'll talk more about that. But I basically have all the cardinal directions and then like northeast, northwest, all that. So the issue with going straight to the side or straight overhead or straight back is you're always gonna deal with 2 posts. Right? So if I want to take them this way, I got to deal with this post and this post, which sucks. I don't want to work on 2. So that leaves me in my 45s where I only have to deal with 1, right? Like if I can push Michael's butt over his heel, back at that 45, it's a very easy sweep. If I can roll him over his shoulder, just exaggerate it, right? Very stupid, that would never happen, but that's the idea, right? So I'm picking one of those 45s, and then I'm getting the post. Now, I'm not gonna tell you how to get the post. There's a whole lot of ways to get the post, and most of them are terrible, right? Because I can conceivably control his post like this. It's not gonna be great, right? That's not gonna be good, right? So on this stage of what we're doing, I want you to use leverage and use little tricks about people's bodies. So like if I want to control his arm, I'm always doing this, right? Because this kind of Zing of his elbow, if he tries to pull that back, his elbow's gonna run into himself. He's very weak, right? So this is like using a lot of good principles to trap his arm. Does that mean this is wrong? Right? This is pretty good too, right? This is better. Make sense? So go trap a post. I don't even pick one. Pick a post to trap, play with it for 5 minutes, and do everything you can possibly conceive of to really secure the shit out of it, okay? Now remember, whatever post you decide to take, this is the one you're using for the rest of the class, all right? So do it. Go. It's amazing. I fucked the road. And now look, all this is open and he can't even pull his elbow out. All right, so you're almost there. Almost all the way there. This class should be easy on your body too. So you have plenty of time to resist. Like right now, it's very cooperative, right? Don't resist your training partner stuff, because all the sweeps we're gonna be doing are ones we just made up in an hour, and they all suck and are very easy to defend, right? So you're pretending like they're not gonna defend. A good technique is when you come up with one of these stupid techniques and then you figure out all the ways to keep them from defending it, right? That's all it is. We're not going to do that part with the not defending. We're just going to ask our friend, hey, could you please not defend any of the dumb shit I'm doing? So, let's get where we're at. However, I decided to bring him to halfway land. Actually, it was you, huh? Somebody just kind of like stumbled in on Marcelo Garcia's kind of whole way to do all this, right? So what Marcelo Garcia is really good at is getting this shoulder crunch, where he gets your shoulder in control, and he keeps this elbow on your head, or on your chest rather. So he can't push in, right? And he can't pull away, right? He's stuck in halfway land forever, right? So if I just kind of scoot out, what's next? Okay, so I know I need him to go 45 degrees over the post I have trapped. This way, right? In order to do that, I need to bring his hips over the thing that I've stolen, that I've weaseled away, right? And I'm gonna do that by lifting his hips over it and pulling the post away, right? And he made that up. Right? So that's what Marcelo, he's like, is that good to do? And I'm like, well, I mean, Marcelo might have won some world championships with it. I think it might work for you, right? So the next thing is how do I generate force over the post that I have trapped? Sometimes that's the trickiest one, right? And then what's the best way to generate that force where it's easiest for me, right? This guy's really good at pendulum sweeps. I don't know if you guys know that. Will you pendulum sweep me real quick? Just very slowly. So however you do a pendulum sweep. I'll just show you how all these things are happening when he does it. Okay, I'm in halfway, right? Does everybody agree? I can't go all the way down because my arm's in the way. I can't go all the way up because he's got my lat, right? Okay, now watch. Hey, look at that. So now all he has to do is take me over that post, right? Like bam. Right? Yeah, nice and gentle. Right? But you see in that perfect technique, he did all those things. No issue. Right? Now can he do that exact same thing but in a completely different way? So we're gonna pendulum sweep, or it won't be a pendulum sweep anymore. But now, trap my arm in some completely different way. Right? Put me in halfway land, right? Now just lift my hips over the post you have gone, however you want. Does it make sense? It's a proto-pendulum. A proto-pendulum, right? It's like it's that 3-line thing. It's not really a bully yet, but we're getting there. Does that make sense? So now that you guys know, you know how you're putting them halfway, you know how you're chopping the limb, you already figured it out. Now I want you to figure out how you're gonna bring their weight, really their center of gravity, over that post, right? You could put your feet on their hips and lift their hips up. You can use a hook. You could ask them nicely. Like, I don't care what you do. but figure it out, okay? Everybody knows what our mission is? Might be confusing. You look confused. Is it confusing?
Figure it out.
Okay, here's the deal. This will make it less confusing. Everybody's like a table with their post, right? And we basically said we're gonna go in 45 degrees. So like if I get rid of this one, notice I didn't fall, right? I need some kind of force making me fall, right? So I'll just be like, hey, will you come push my left ass cheek that way? But really grab it tight. Not my ass cheek, that's my hips, grab my ass. Yeah, just the cheek. Right? So you need to generate the force in that direction somehow. It's not gonna, you can sneeze, whatever. But now does it make sense? So however you want to generate that force, but remember the goal is to do it the best way you can, all right? Go. Hopefully you're starting to get, took me 25 minutes, but I think you guys are kind of understand like what I'm digging towards, which is like we focus a lot in class on what to do, and we become these little memorizer machines. And this is where you get into like my least favorite conversations in jiu-jitsu.
Well, my coach said to do it this way, and your coach said to do it this way. Which one is better?
I hate that so much, right? Because the reality is, in one situation, one will be better, and in another situation, the other one will be better. And by picking like one dude to totally like up his ass all the time, right? We're trying to decide that there's only one right way to do things, and we're limiting ourselves completely, right? I'm at a Globetrotters camp, so I'm assuming almost everybody here is not really about that lifestyle, like the brown nosing lifestyle. Caveat, if Jay tells you to do something one way and I tell you to do it the other way, do it Jay's way every time. But yeah, there's not a right way, right? Like, so for example, I say, I love to trap this arm like this, right? I like to grab this and pull it and turn it. Well, my student Jaden has one hand, so he traps it like this. I feel like that's a good reason to not do it the way your coach said, right? And just because you can't do it the way your coach said, you're not allowed to just go, oh, well, then I won't do it at all. Like, that's not it. And half the times I do sweeps, man, it's not the way that I would have done it, right? But Michael Courier's not gonna let me get everything I want. If I'm lucky, I'll get enough of what I want to make the sweep work, right? And if you don't have some ability to realize, like, I would rather control this arm this way, but all I got's this way. If you can't do that in real time, you're never going to be very good at jiu-jitsu. You might look really good like demoing moves, right? But you're not going to be good in it. Because sometimes you just don't get what you want. Let's look at some more kind of key concepts here. Will you just sit in the base? Sorry. Like you were in. So this will go a little bit to like what Demko was just talking about. If we look at the bottom structure of his body, right? It's a triangle. Do we all agree? Right? And I don't really want to try to sweep him over the points of the triangle ever. Kind of like, what are these, vertices? Is that what they're called? I want to bring him over the vertices, right? Like even Michael Courier is very good at jiu-jitsu, but I can take him that way very easy. Or this way. And conceive, like I can actually kind of bring him up over those knees pretty easy too. It's not hard. But it is really hard to pull him directly against these posts. Or push him straight back over that bottom of the triangle, right? Does that make sense? So this is, when we're attacking this base, this is where I would call it like the 45 degrees south, right? Or I call it the butt Achilles heel. Push their ass over their heels. It's so easy. Push his ass over his heels, right? And that's how I do most of my sweeps because I'm lazy, right? So that's that bottom kind of base. And then if you look at kind of the next set of the base, when we're going over the shoulders for a sweep, we're going to be bringing the butt up and the shoulder down. And that's just making him do a front roll, right? Like every roll, every sweep almost that you go over somebody's shoulder, you're just inviting them to do a front roll, right? Pretty easy, get the butt high, bring the shoulder low. When we're doing that, and here, this is the issue we're getting into. I know what I want to do, but especially if you're a small guy like me and Mike are, I can't make people go the way I want them to, right? So in a really beautiful world, I would say, oh, I'm going to scissor sweep him. He's not going to resist, and my knee hurts. Well, sorry. No, it's okay. But I got it, right? Does that ever happen in reality? No, right? So I need to get him on my team, and this is the next thing we're going to talk about. Once I pick which way we're going to go, I need to get him to get with the program on that. So if I want to scissor sweep Mr. Courier, what I'm gonna do is do something that puts him the exact opposite direction. So maybe like an omoplata, right? Like I'll push him this way with a, oh, and then it's easy, right? But it really just is like, push them that way, and when they push back this way, go that way, right? That's a very easy jujitsu concept, right? Now, just by a show of hands, being brutally honest, how many of you are setting up your sweeps every time you go for a sweep with an opposite motion? You do it mostly? How about you?
Almost never.
Almost never. I almost never do too, but I'll tell you what, when I do it, it works really good. Like I can sweep Charles Harriet when I remember to do it, right? But if I don't remember to do it, I can't. Right? But just give them the opposite of what you want them to do, and then watch them go, right? But it also has to be a credible threat most of the time, unless you protect, because he sets up like all his half guard stuff by doing this, and that's just dumb. Like how to do it, but it really works because he goes like this, and when they push back in, he goes like this, right? And it's really cool, but you're relying on that reaction of them pushing back. So. Damn, I just got on a tangent and fucked my whole shit up. It's better if those opposite motions are credible threats, right? So like if I come up on a hip bump sweep for Michael here, right? And I'm really attacking it, he doesn't have the option of not responding, right? Like if he doesn't respond, he's going up, no doubt about it, right? So if I want him to push into me, boom, pushes in. So the attack I needed when he pushed it. This should not be new to anybody in this room. Yes?
Show it from a flower sweep.
How I would set up.
How you set up the flower.
Yeah, it's and there's so many, right? There's so many different, like, so all I'm doing, if I'm gonna go for a flower sweep or a pendulum sweep or a shanja sweep or any variation, they're all the same damn sweep, right? I can go straight to it and I can assume he's gonna resist, right? Yeah, being nuts, but like, if he knows this is what I'm doing, he's gonna resist it, right? So I gotta make him want to go this way, right? And sometimes that can just be as easy as this, right? And then it doesn't even feel like I have to do a good pendulum sweep. If that was garbage pendulum sweep, it was enough.
Okay.
Because he was on my team.
Got it.
I don't want to fight against him. I hope I said that in a way that makes sense. I've eaten a lot of pot gummies in your guys' legal marijuana city here. Does that make sense? So now we're gonna add to this sweep you're inventing. Push them the wrong way, and they'll push back. And then see how much easier your garbage sweep you're inventing works, okay? Go. All right, so how are you creating halfway line?
Well, I was trying to figure out your way,
Oh, good.
but I'm not going to do that
You
one
can
today.
one day be mediocre at jiu-jitsu too.
Yeah. I'm not going to do your way.
So we're in halfway. Can you come up? Can you go down? Nope. Good. Perfect. Stuck in halfway. What's next? Whee! Whee! Good. Now let's look at so like set it back up nice and light, right? Nice and light. Set everything up the way you did it first off, right? I'll just jump right back in. He's gonna do the move again. All right. So trap the arm the same way you did. All right. So you lifted her kind of up onto your hamstring and did like a pendulum sweep style. Could you put this hook in and use your quad to elevate the hips over the shoulder?
Sorry,
You might have to scoot your butt out, but put that butterfly hook in.
Oh,
This butterfly hook. Yeah. Now do the same exact move. Felt weaker, right?
Kind of release it back.
Yeah, because you got to extend your quad out and the leverage sucks on that. Your quad's not as strong as your hips, right? So it's probably better to use your hamstring to lift their hips up, stronger. But you could also use that hook, right? What else did you use? Put on the hip, maybe? Yeah, can you get your foot, now can you just like hold it up and, yeah, you're released to it. But if you had these bad boys. Right? Now, can you do the same pendulum you did? Could you chop the arm a little different way, right? Just some other way of controlling the arm and taking the post away. Yeah, that's good. I like that. That's my favorite. Now do the same exact move. It's going to work just as well. Just as well. Yeah, it really is. Yeah. Right? You just have to get rid of the post. And then you just have to do it in the best way you can with the tools that you have. And then you have to put them over the post the best way that you can at the time. That's it. So you can make jiu-jitsu moves up all day long. Some of them are gonna suck, and most of them are really gonna suck. Most of them you're gonna go in and like, I don't know, do something really just really good. And we'll find out something that'll just be like impossibly easy done. Okay, so like this. Right? This is really easy for me to find. Sweep me. Oh, now it's getting hard. Right? No problem. This is why this is not a move your instructor teaches you. Right? The moves your instructors are teaching you is like, this is functionally good and it stops all the way they can defend it, right? But they don't have time to tell you this, right? When my student says, why do you do it that way? I don't have time to be like, well, because it stops when they do this, 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 and we go on and on and on and on and on and on and on, right? I don't want my students to have to do that, so I teach them like this. Like they understand like the concept of a sweep, like what is the bare bones of it, and they can kind of fuddle their way through it, which is it's been really useful at them getting good. It's also given them a really, really healthy respect for good technique when they learn it, right? Which is what I did not have. I said, no, that's the way we do it. I give you dollars and you tell me something perfect. Oh, all right. So I want to show, how much time do we have? 20 minutes. I want to show, there's one really cool sweep and attack that I accidentally came up with through this drill. And it's the one out of like thousands that actually ended up being a real thing that I do. And it's been really cool. And it's also really gonna hurt my knees. So if it looks like shit, don't get mad at it. So I was teaching this, and I like X guard, especially like this old school X guard, quite a lot, right? And now I'm just gonna take all the principles we have to make this sweep happen. So the first thing is I need to pick a post. Usually for these types of sweeps, you guys would all agree we pick this post for X guard, right? I was just like, fuck it, what if I do this one? It's dumb, right? So now, according to my own rules, I need to find a way to lift his hips over the post, right? And it's actually kind of easy, right? Because of my legs are strong. Well, I just push this one through, and I'm gonna roll it. I'm kind of just really nicely land right into a super ugly knee bar. It's sexy, right?
I would have tapped.
And you just land right into it. That doesn't happen all the time. So as soon as I did that, I was like, well, that was neat. I found a thing. And I didn't invent it, I discovered it, right? And it was just by picking a different post in this stupid game. So we'll play with this. It's actually not as hard as you would think. Now, the thing that I didn't do is I didn't set it up. Because here's the reality. If I try to do this to Michael Curry and he's defending, I go to lift him up, he can just kind of base in, right? And I'm not going to lift him up. So I got to make him go the way I said, right? I got to get him on my team. And I just threaten this. Right? I'm going. If he doesn't do anything, he falls, right? You guys agree? But if he pushes this way, got it? Did I do a good job explaining how that covered all the bases of what we did? Right? I picked a post, I put him in a precarious situation. I said, oh, this doesn't work, because he can just base into it. So I push him the opposite way of where I want him to go, and then when he leans into it, he's on my team. I lift him up, take him over the post. That one's cool because I end up with a submission right out of the gate, which is nice. Doesn't always happen. But I would take it even if there wasn't a submission out of the gate because it just feels nice. It's the bottom person. Does anybody want to see that again? Because we're actually going to do this move. I'd feel bad if I didn't teach one real thing. And then you guys have to go try this, and if it works for you, you got to tell everybody this really awesome ball drug addict showed you. So we're just in a regular X guard. I'm gonna do this. Like in a real roll, I would go for this first one right where I drop my foot down, my kick both. I'm gonna go hard at it. And if I get it, mission accomplished, right? Well, let's pretend it didn't go well and he pushed it back in. Then I'm gonna lift him up, turn him through, and I'm gonna ride right in. I would like to get this foot inside if I can, but I finished it. God, you are so damn flexible.
Bend it. Break it.
It's so fucking gross and I'm never gonna get used to it. Right, so we're lifting him up 45 degrees over that post, which is the head side hand, right? And I'm trying to get his shoulder low, so I'm pushing his arm through, lifting his butt over. And the rest of it you should be able to figure out on your own fairly easily. You guys on track?
Hell yeah.
3, 2, 1, go. All right. Good, let's do it. Good, so get this knee really through here, right? Get your center of gravity under his center of gravity. Good. This ankle needs to be over your shoulder. Grab his knee instead of his shin and open it up by pulling your elbow in. See how his base sucks ass now? That's gonna help you in this whole process. Good. You got the right hand. Perfect. Now do the move. Let me see what's going wrong.
So then we'll fall forward.
Yeah.
Then I lift them. Sorry.
One.
Then
All right, so go back. I'll show you. You and 45 towards his feet. Your angle of attack was, I guess, south. Let's bring him towards that post. So I'm going to stand in the direction where you might
use me.
Oh,
Yep. You might.
that way you won't die. Good. So I'm going to stand right at the angle we want to take him. So where I am is where we're. Yes. Yep. Now if you just fall onto your left hip, put your left knee. Put your knee goes under. Yep. Above his knee, not below his knee. Right, so we always want below knee, right? And then your knee's going to go. And now you're ready to knee back. Do it one more time, because that was perfect. You just, once you fix the angle, everything else falls into place. It's nice. Oh, good. You'll fall on this side.
Oh.
Yes. And that's all you'll have to drill. Is just fix that 10 times later. And it'll have quiet stuff. That'll look great. Easy fix. Is anybody else struggling? I'll spend the last 4 minutes. I feel like with conceptual classes, like you have to give people like something they can use. So this move is, I will tell you, we'll get some practice in this. We'll throw some detail in and we'll call it a day. I see a lot of bad experts. I see this a lot. I even see this, right? And this is a problem because this can move it. Well, the main power of X-Guard is that I have all this extension. But look, if his foot can move, he still just has a base, right? So it's only powerful if I can keep it from following me. And I really eat that thing, right? I'm trying to open it and eat it. And that way when I extend, it's really causing problems for him, right? So make sure you're in here. Second thing is this is like maybe 80% good. If I just go here now, it's like 100% good. Right? Like center of gravity aligned up. Now he's like a seal with a ball, right? Like I'm gonna roll. Charles Harry does this shit to me every time we roll. I'm just floating above it, right? So now that I fixed all these things, when I come up to lifting, it's actually quite easy, right? All I need is below knee control here, and Suzanne Summers, is that her? Thigh master it, right? Heather Raftery finishes all the knee bars this way, which I really, really like. This one I'm mostly finishing this way these days. God, you're so gross.
Break it.
No. That thing is like a banana, dude. All right, so fix your center of gravity underneath. It's gonna help you get over that 45. And then fix your, like just focus on getting below their knee with your thighs and everything else you find in place. Got it? Just go play with this more and then we're done. Go. I am not stretching him out with this one. I'm not going this way, right? Because then I have to go that way. I'm lifting him up. Does that make sense to everybody? I'm lifting him up and over. So my X guard is doing this, not this. And that'll fix all the rest of the remaining problems I saw. I hope. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Bye, guys.